model army. Obviously, they would have been on opposite sides. Just for the drill purpose, we'll show you the arms and armour. I myself am dressed as a major, would have looked, in the English Civil War. I managed to buy my own clothes, my own buff coat, and I managed to purchase a nice sword for myself, which is a bit different to what you'll see the soldiers wearing in a moment. I have a blue sash to distinguish myself as an officer, which can also be used as a stretcher in case I get injured or damaged. Now, one of the key important people in this 17th century, because there's no telephones, everything's done word of mouth, would be the drummer. So in the heat of battle, during the chaos and the noise, the drummer would be there to relay the orders to what the troops wanted to do. They were very highly trained and highly skilled and were drilling every single day, these soldiers. So the job of the drummer was to relay any orders that I wish. So, for example, to get the soldiers ready, he would call the preparative. This would then get the soldiers into their ranks and files, ready for whatever I wanted them to do. In a battle situation, I could ask the drummer to perform the charge. Normally a company would have two drummers and they would be doing that simultaneously. The drummer is also a young gentleman. He's not a little drummer boy that we come to think of him. He will be able to converse with his elders, his betters, and also make notes, and also work in conjunction with the quartermaster, which is there to feed and house and look after the soldiers. You would also pick up the tips of military intelligence. He may eventually himself become a high-ranking officer because of his knowledge of the drill manuals of the time. The next importance and the next in line for myself would be the ensign. Today, when you have the treatment of the colour, this is very helpful. This is the colour, each one will be assigned to a company. Here we have the colonel's colour, which is plain and very large. Designed to be large, into battle. You can look around and see where everybody is formed. Again, he's got a nice buff coat, like myself, and he's also managed to buy himself some boots as well. If anything happened to me, he would then step up into my role as a captain or a major and command the company. Next up will be the piping. We've got a variation of full-length pipes to mark out the sergeant will now go through and show you the drilling. And remember, when it comes to the talk of pushing the pipes, this is what happens. Down there on the road between the New Model Army and the Scots.
Yeah. Bunch of pipes. Left. Stand. Order your pipes. Ladies and gentlemen, we've brought a very small but very compact unit of pikemen to the field for you today. See, we've got a mix of soldiers in uniforms. We've got this gentleman here, who's of the New Model Army, with his coat. Very well set up man with a helmet. The other two gentlemen today we brought you are from the Scots Army, which is slightly less, better equipped, as befits rebels. And no harm between them. A mismatch of weapons that they've been given. So, we're going through some of the postures for you, just some of the basic commands that the pikes would use on the field in order to get the most use out of their weapons. So, division of pike. Advance your pikes. So this position, this is the advance, this is the main battlefield manoeuvre that they use. This is how they can move around easily. And from this position, we can go to any of the other orders that the soldiers need to use as and when required. Division of pike, shoulder your pike. You've got all as well trained. The new model army soldier is much better trained than these raw levies. You see, you have to do everything in order and everything at the same time. Because if you don't, then confusion will reign inside your soldiers. And they'll be much more vulnerable to them. Advance your pikes. When they're going to start to engage the enemy, so they might be other pikemen, or they might want to engage with musketeers who might be reloading and vulnerable. The pikemen will be given the order to charge your pikes! New model army man, got it right. So, this position is the charge. This is how the pikemen take ground. This is how they defend themselves from other soldiers. If you can imagine another 4 ranks behind these men, all with pikes, all with the pike heads coming over. So everyone can engage the enemy. It's not just one rank, so everyone can fight. They form a nice hedge at the point, which will hopefully stop anyone getting close to us. As you were, gentlemen, at the advance. One of the main uses of pikemen on the field at this time is the defence against cavalry. The musketeers are very vulnerable when they're reloading. If the cavalry can catch them when their muskets are empty, they're going to be in real trouble. So the pikemen are there. One of the main roles is to defend against cavalry. So we have a manoeuvre for that. It's called charge of horse. So, gentlemen, order your pikes into your close order. Down into the ground. Right foot up. Right there. Right foot, sir. The pike, charge for horse! So the pikes all come down. You have to imagine they might be doing this in a hedgehog, an all-round defence, but just as they are, the cavalry can be straight at them. Again, the cavalry will not want to run onto these points. Horses aren't stupid. They're not going to run onto these unless you're very unlucky. And again, there'll be another 4 ranks behind this, all with their pikes over there. As you were, gentlemen, at the order. They didn't do too bad, I think. I'm dressed as a sergeant, I guess, really. I mean, people could wear a variety of different things. I could be a veteran soldier. As a sergeant, I'm on a slightly higher pay, so I can perhaps afford slightly better equipment than the common soldiers here. It's my job to transmit the orders from the officer and the drummer to the men under my charge. I could be armed with a variety of weapons. I could either have a halberd, which is a large axe-type weapon for chopping, or in many cases where such weapons weren't available, I could be given this. This is just called a bill hook. This is basically a medieval weapon that was still being pressed into service in the 1600s because of its utility and its ease of manufacture. You see here, all it is just a chopping blade on the top, and a spike for stabbing, and a hook on the reverse, pulling people's legs out from under them, cutting tendons, anything like that, to get people onto the ground where you can dispatch them. But my main role, I wouldn't really be fighting. My main role would be, I would be at the back, and I would be pushing the men into position with this, dispatching any soldiers that try to run away, or otherwise trying to maintain discipline in the ranks. So, thank you, gentlemen, have a care. Advance your pikes. To your left hand face. Pike, march on.
So we're going to talk about the division of shot. Normally, the shot would be 2 to 1 with a pikeman. The pikemen are there to defend and make sure that the musketeers have got enough time to reload and they're not being attacked by cavalry. Musketeers will now talk through the loading and firing of the muskets.
This is a matchlock musket. The lock, the moving metal part. It's called a lock because it was made by a locksmith. He was the very fellow to do it. It's called a matchlock because you need burning match cord to fire the thing. It's hempen cord boiled in saltpetre called slow match. It's my luck that it starts raining when I've got to demonstrate this because one drop of rain on that slow match, it'll reach the wet bit and it'll go out. And I haven't lit the other end. But anyway, when you learn how to use the musket, they give you a lot of instructions. There's a lot to do. On the field of battle, you should know what you're doing by then, and they'll just say the command, make ready. And I'm going to show you the things you have to do. First, you need to open your pan. Clean out your pan. It could be spent powder from the last time you fired it and such there. You then search out your priming flask, and you would prime your pan. Better powder, or the powder that's more likely to spark, is in there. Close your pan, blow off any loose powder, cast off any loose coals. You then cast your musket about. You find out your charge. This is a bandolier of boxers. Every wooden bottle on here has enough gunpowder in it to fire this musket once. This can be coarser powder. It's about 1.25 ounces of powder to a ball weighing about 1.25 ounces, but this is just the powder. Pour the powder down. I leave the top off, otherwise by the time I'm down to here I can't remember which one I've used last and I end up putting nothing down and wondering why it won't shoot. If you leave the top off, you know where you're up to. You then find out your ball. Now if you kept the bullets, lead balls, in this little pouch here, you'd be fiddling around for some time just trying to get the bullet out. And then you'd be fiddling around much longer trying to fasten this back up again, putting your musket down using both your hands so that all the bullets don't spill out of there. You can't do that on the battlefield. So what they often do is they'd have a handful of bullets, stuff them in their cheeks, and that meant when they were told to put ball in, they'd spit the ball down. The trick is not to cough or sneeze or hiccup while you've got the bullets in your mouth. Otherwise you're waiting a day or so for the bullets. You will get them back, and the battle might be over. You spit the bullet down. You then find out wad, which could be a leaf or grass or a piece of paper or a piece of cloth, and you'd wad your piece. You'd then, now, here's some instructions according to the drill books. Just to do this next bit, these are the instructions. Withdraw your scouring stick, reverse and short to a handful. Ram home your charge. Withdraw your scouring stick, reverse and short to a handful, return your scouring stick. So they're the instructions just to do that. My scouring stick doesn't want to go back in. Have I, did I reverse it? Am I so busy concentrating? I did reverse it. Sorry, so busy talking, I'm not concentrating what I'm doing. That's the wet as well. I think my scouring stick is getting a bit soggy from yesterday in the rain as well, so it's hard to go back in. You then give rest to your musket. Now you're nearly ready to shoot then, but I don't want to shoot this close to you, so if I can come back here. Now, give rest to your musket. You've got your musket like this. When you're given the command to cock and try your match, you take your match, you place it in that little serpentine. It's called a serpentine because it's got it's like the mouth of a snake. Fasten it in with that screw to make sure it ain't going to budge. That's cocking your match. Trying your match to make sure it's going to touch the right spot, and with the powder in. There's an idiot's guide on my musket. There's a little X, so you know exactly where it should go. Considering it's only that big anyway, I think it's worked out where it should go. When you're given the command present, you present your piece. When you're given the command prepare to give fire, you open the pan. Oh, I'll tell you something you should really do. Blow on your coals. Otherwise it might be covered in ash. Then tell you, prepare to give fire, and then when you're given the command give fire, on the word fire, pull upon the trigger, which will send that match cord down into the pan. Can't shoot unless because you'll blind yourself. You'll bash through the tunnel. And then it's still a weapon unloaded, because you can be given the order club musket. It's iron shot. You go into the enemy, so we can still hurt the enemy. Just need to get a bit closer to it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very, very brief introduction to 17th century English Civil War fighting and the soldiers that were on the side. We're not going anywhere, so if you've got any questions or you want to know more information, please come up and ask us. We'll be around the castle church. So, thank you.